Obama's attack on Pakistan is the heart of the matter. And, of course, the other question, of course, the illegitimacy of all this. We had one tenant of the White House under Bush. We got another tenant of the White House, illegitimate president. And, of course, the issue there is the natural-born citizen, 35 years old, which Obama simply scorns and shows contempt for. So let's hear once again, as has become traditional here, from the person who has done more than any other single individual to make this an issue, and that is Philip J. Berg of Philadelphia, distinguished lawyer, former candidate for the Democratic nomination for senator, governor in Pennsylvania. So we want to welcome Phil as usual.
Thank you. My pleasure to be on with you again, Webster.
Thanks for being on at short notice today. So how does the situation look now as we go into the holiday season?
Well, first off, let me just comment. It's outrageous that he's getting the Nobel Peace Prize. They say for what he has done. The Nobel Committee met, I think 10 days after he was sworn in. I think it's like a slap in the face. They're trying to say we want peace, and meanwhile you can send more troops into Afghanistan. But the bigger issue is the fact that he's not constitutionally eligible to be president. It's an outrage what's going on. It's an outrage about our national media. I am pursuing this. I'm not going to give up on this, and hopefully more and more people will join with us. The place to get the best information is ObamaCrimes.com. Our website, ObamaCrimes.com, ObamaCrimes.com, for the latest, the most accurate information. We're getting ready. I'm even going to put out a press release the next day or so. See, we're in a constitutional crisis because he doesn't belong in that office, and one of these days he will be removed. If the courts don't do it, we can do it via the public. I think the public will stand firm on this once we get more knowledge out to the public, and that's why your show is so terrific. And I hope your listeners out there will call other shows and demand that they discuss this topic and put me on, because if the public really was aware of this issue, they would force him out of office. Aside from everything he's done before with the birth certificate and actually lack of, also what's his real legal name, because we know he was adopted or acknowledged in Indonesia, and his name there became Barry Soturo. So if he hasn't legally changed his name after that time, it's like if any of your listeners adopt a child, the child takes your last name. If he hasn't legally changed his name, every time he's used his name, Barack Hussein Obama, it's been a fraud. And he is a fraud upon all the citizens of this country. This is the biggest hoax against the United States of America in over 230 years. And I don't mince words when I say this. Obama has had ample opportunity to produce documentation that shows that he's legit. I just got an email from someone today who is was in the service and had a very high security clearance, and he advised me that to get the security clearance, he had to go through a whole background check, including his birth certificate, including his Social Security number, and including other information. That's what's so outrageous about here. We have someone who's sitting in the office of president, who's sitting in a position of commander-in-chief, who has never produced anything, because if he had produced it up to now, then he would have produced it for us. So we need the public behind us on this. I think, to reiterate that story from about 2 months ago, and I think it says it best, when a woman applauded me, sent me an email thanking me, and she related the story how her 15-year-old nephew, I think his 13-year-old nephew, she just registered for school. And the nephew said, when he was done registering, principal, can I ask you a question? The principal said, sure. He said, how come I had to show my birth certificate to register for school, and Obama didn't have to show it to become president? And that says it all. But more so than the feeling of a 13-year-old or what I say or what you say, the U.S. Constitution is very specific that one must be natural born to be president of the United States. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you recall, many times people talk to him about the fact of running for president, and what has he constantly told people? I'm from Austria. He said, if you want me to be president, I'm only naturalized. You have to amend the Constitution. And he at least is being honest about it. Obama is being a fraud. He won't discuss it. He spent over $1.6 million fighting it. You don't spend that kind of money unless you're hiding something, and he obviously is hiding something. So our cases are still pending. The most crucial case, I really believe, is the False Claims Act case, the Cretem case, which is filed now in the D.C. Court of Appeals, because that case, the Supreme Court has already stated in that type of case, standing, the person bringing that case, the relator, which I am in the particular case that I'm talking about now, has standing. So we get away from the standing issue, which is absurd, which is my other case, the case that is now before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and because they say that I don't have standing, Webster, you don't have standing, and none of your listeners have standing, which is absurd.
Absurd.
How can you not have standing to challenge the U.S. Constitution? And these judges or justices behind this, it's outrageous. They're intimidated by the power of the presidency. I guess they're afraid of what Obama might do. And the point is, we can't be afraid at this point. We have to stand up. Our forefathers stood up and fought England, and to become the great nation that we did. And we've had wars over the last 220 years, and during those wars, men and women have died defending this Constitution, over 1.6 million. And this is outrageous what's going on. So we're going to keep the fight up. I need your listeners, when they're done airing, listening to your show, please, and I keep pleading with you, go to your mailbox, go to your address book, and send to everyone on there to go to our website and look at it and pass it on to everyone in your address book and down, down, down. If you take 10 to the 7th power, you're up over 1 million people. So it's very easy to get this message out. And we really must get the message out because we have a usurper. We have a phony in the White House. And I believe that everything he's doing, and that's why I have an appeal to the Tea Party people, join with us, not what your leaders want. Your leaders don't want anything to do with this, which makes no sense. If you're worried about higher taxes, if you're worried about other outlandish activities against you by this administration, join with me because we are right. And if we can get Obama out of office, all these other things fall by the wayside. And the most crucial thing is, think about it. Right now, we're now in the 11th month of a cover-up. Nixon had with the break-in at the Watergate was really something small. But what forced him out of office was what? It was the cover-up. Well, we have a massive cover-up by Obama and the people around him, and it's a total disgrace. So you have my pledge. I'm going to keep going on this. It's costing. I don't care. We're going to keep fighting this until one day, hopefully, one judge or a group of justices will decide that this issue is more important than anything else. This should be the number one story in the country. It should be the number one story in every newspaper on the top fold of the front page. And like you bring it up every week, these media should bring it up because it really is outrageous what's going on, and we're going to keep up the good fight.
Phil, I think this week we had the Gallup poll showing Obama at 47%, and that seems to be the lowest popularity rating for a president ever at that particular point in the term. Now, that fluctuates a little bit, but the 47% was an unprecedented low point, and I think that the worm may be turning, and when people realize that they've been sold a bill of goods with this stealth candidate Obama, that they'll be interested. So we thank you, Phil. We'll see you next week. ObamaCrimes.com. Read all about it and make a contribution, and we'll be back in a minute.